Have you ever been sure about a story only to find out later that you only knew half of it? That feeling, that shock of realizing there was more to the story is precisely what we mean when we talk about learning humility in history. In London, they remind passengers, mind the gap. It's a warning to watch your step before you board the train. History gives us the same warning. Mind the gap between what we think we know about the past and what really happened. In this video, I'll give you 4 attitudes to help you approach the past with respect and humility. I discussed the importance of curiosity in a previous video as the first habit in developing historical consciousness. So today, I'd like to discuss another historic railway to illustrate our need for the second habit, attunement, which emphasizes respect and humility. I love Chris Tarrant's television series called Extreme Railway Journeys. He really understands how much history has been affected by the building, maintaining, and traveling on railways. In the following exchange about an older movie, The Bridge on the River Kwai, and the real death railway built by Asian slaves and Allied POWs under Japanese control during World War II, the interviewer Tarrant asks historian Andrew Snow how accurately that old film reflects what really happened. After all, 80,000 forced laborers, including 130 Americans, died in its construction. Snow explains that the movie, based on a novel by the same author who wrote Planet of the Apes, takes significant liberties with fact. While some incidents occur, the central idea of the movie, that British prisoners taught the Japanese how to build a bridge, is pure fiction. In reality, Snow notes, the Japanese were already highly skilled engineers who knew exactly how to construct a railway. The discussion then turns to the site of the bridge itself. Tarrant observes that the flood of tourists having fun in silly hats and eating street food seems disrespectful given the suffering that took place there. Snow agrees that many visitors simply do not realize the significance of the site's history, often taking short excursions without really understanding its background and significance. During the program, a clip shows a middle-aged Japanese woman tourist marching playfully to the Colonel Bogey March. Music played by a solo violinist to entertain tourists at the bridge. This familiar tune was the one that the British and Anzac soldiers were supposed to have whistled to keep up their morale, as they were used as virtual slaves in the building of the railway line that connected Thailand to Burma, which is present-day Myanmar. When asked about Japanese visitors, Snow explains that they typically view the bridge as an impressive engineering achievement of their own people, since Japanese schools rarely teach the full wartime story. When they do learn what truly happened, he says, they're usually shocked and apologetic. For, quote, you can't be responsible for something you were never told. Snow was very charitable, as a historian should be, to people who have a gap in their knowledge of history. To his credit, and those to whom he has revealed the full facts of our story, there is sorrow because knowing the truth forces one to reckon with, those were my people. In other words, the truth. And there should be repentance. How can we ever be sure this never happens again? That kind of response is what we would call attunement, what I like to call minding the gap, to play on the wonderful warning from the London Underground. Allow me to describe what I mean by attunement with the past. It comes from music, the precise adjustment of instruments to produce the correct pitch, symbolizing harmony. First, attunement means recognizing we are part of history, not detached observers. Our lives are shaped by the past, influencing our identities and choices. We should avoid judging historical events by current standards, as it diminishes our understanding rather than increases it. And what I have in mind here is things like this statement: medieval people were so ignorant, they believed in demons and thought the world was flat. Second, attunement also means engaging with the past human experiences with respect, empathy, and caution. History is complex. There's no idealized golden age to return to. It also should not justify future utopian visions, however. Third, truth telling about the past is vital. We must acknowledge our assumptions and be honest about what we know and what we don't. As Southern writer Flannery O'Connor noted, the truth does not change according to our ability to stomach it. The true mark of sincere people of faith is their affirmation that you shall know the truth and the truth will make you free. There's no need to fear the truth, even if acknowledging it requires a change. As divided as we are these days, we all ultimately benefit from the truth. Just think about that. 4. Finally, to cultivate an appreciation for the past means understanding that events and people deserve to be examined on their own terms, even if parts of history are hard to love. To unearth their stories is an act of love for the past and respect for the people of the past as real people. When approaching the past, we should do so with humility, asking ourselves questions like, how might they have seen the world? And what can they teach us about our own blind spots? To respect them and their stories resonates with the golden rule. We should treat people from the past as we would wish ourselves to be treated by those in the future who view us. By adopting these habits, we can develop a more nuanced historical consciousness. Practicing humility means recognizing that both our understanding of the past and the past itself are fragile and imperfect, shared by human limitations and biases. It's the historian's way of expressing, hey, I'm part of the story too. Therefore, I need to listen before I speak. Next time, we'll explore the third habit necessary for developing historical consciousness, reading widely and slowly. Until then, I humbly ask that you like, comment, and subscribe to this channel to promote more helpful stories like these.